I'm back to do another last minute predictions. It is for UFC 125 Resolution. Takes place January 1st, which is tomorrow. As I'm doing this, the day of the day before of the event. It's at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm getting confused here. It's the first MMA event. It's the great way to start off the new year, 2011. A lot of people are complaining about the card, but most of you probably stream it online. If you're a streamer, that's cool, but you shouldn't be complaining because it's free for you. So, on to the first fight. I'm going to start this off here. The prelims unaired, then the prelims on Ion TV, channel 305 for DirecTV customers, by the way, and then the main card. So here we go. First fight, Jacob Volkmann taking on Antonio McKee. McKee is making his debut. Volkmann's a good wrestler. I just think McKee's a better wrestler. I think he's a better submission fighter. Even though McKee's stand-up isn't too good, I think he's a better stand-up striker too. So, sorry about that. I just see Volkmann, he could hang in there for a while. He might take down McKee, but I think McKee will either submit him or he'll just get back up. I really don't see McKee too worried if he gets taken down. Volkmann, on the other hand, I do see him probably getting a little worried. So, at the win, they both seem good. So I'm going to say McKee kind of frustrates Volkmann first, second round. Then third round, he just frustrates him. Volkmann makes a mistake. McKee capitalizes on it and gets the submission. So I'm going to go with Antonio McKee, third round submission over Jacob Volkmann. On to the next one, Daniel Roberts versus Greg Soto. Before the weigh-in, I had Roberts. He's a better grappler than Soto in my eyes. Soto's a good wrestler, decent stand-up, but Roberts, he's a much better grappler. His credentials are much more superior than Soto is. And I had Soto losing by submission to Roberts by mid to late second round. But after the weigh-in, I'm switching my pick, man. Soto looked good, but Roberts, he was either pissed off or worried about making weight. And I'm going to go with making the weight one because he was pissed. Coming up the stairs, just didn't look like he wanted to go on the scale. He was worried that, it just seemed like he was worried that he was going to miss weight. Don't want to be a stereotype here, but the black guy, I don't know his name, I forgot his name, that's in charge of the fighters backstage, he looked worried too. He was standing behind Roberts when he was on the scale. Once he made weight, the guy was happy, like, okay, he made weight, good job. I don't know. Roberts could just, say, you know what, I had a shitty weight cut, but then go off and pull off the submission. But I think he was a little drained. So I'm gonna go with Soto here, unanimous decision over Daniel Roberts. But my original pick was Daniel Roberts, second round submission. So I'm going with Soto just because of what I saw at the weigh-in, but could be wrong. Next one, the last of the unaired, Mike Brown versus Thiago Nunes. I wanted to see this fight. Hopefully we do. I doubt it, but hopefully we do. The fight, I think it's a tough opponent for Brown. A lot of people are underestimating Thiago Nunes. If you don't know who he is, he's a good fighter. He's a good grappler with okay stand-up. I think if it goes to the ground, I would have to give a little advantage to Nunes, actually. But stand-up wise, Mike Brown's just a much better striker. I think he has the power to knock out Nunes. I don't think it'll happen. Brown did also look sick at the weigh-in and looked like he was a little drained from the weight cut, but he's a big 145er, and I think that he's much bigger than Nunes. I think he's gonna push that weight around, and he's gonna. If he does take Nunes down, I think his wrestling will be good enough to get out of the submissions. But I think Mike Brown's gonna mix up the takedowns with the stand up pretty well, and he'll win a decision. So I'm gonna go with Mike Brown, unanimous decision over Thiago Nunes. I think he'll mix up the striking with the takedowns and one decision. So there you go. On to the prelims showed on Ion TV. It is channel 305, like I said, for DirecTV customers. Everybody else, you can go to the website and they'll tell you what channel it is for whatever cable company you have. First fight, we have Phil Baroni versus Brad Tavares. I had Tavares winning a unanimous decision. He still could, but I'm switching my pick right now. I said Baroni before the weigh-in has a puncher's chance. I was worried about his cardio. I still am. I thought the weight cut would, him cutting weight again would be a little issue. It didn't seem like it. He looked upbeat, looked ready for this fight. and he looked much bigger than Brad Tavares. So I'm switching my pick to Baroni. First round TKO over Brad Tavares, but if Tavares does win this, I think Tavares will take Baroni down. He'll grind him out. He'll take him into the later rounds. Baroni, I still think, has cardio issues, and it'll show. But I don't think we'll see the Tavares submitting Baroni, but I do see him controlling him and winning, a lackluster fight if Tavares wins. But like I said, I'm going with Baroni. He looks much bigger. I think he's just going to out-muscle Tavares, get him up against the cage, and I think he's just going to knock him out. So, Phil Baroni, first round TKO over Brad Tavares. Josh Grispi taking on Dustin Poirier. A lot of people are like, I want to say they're not hardcore fan, but a lot of people, the hardcore ones, are literally on Poirier. And I am too. He's a good prospect, but I just think Grispi is just a much better fighter. He needs to prove his striking, but once it hits the grappling department, Grispi is, I think, much more superior than Poirier. I think if it hits the ground, which I know it will, I think Grispi will just control his arms, control anything, and then submit him. I think he's that good. He's probably a little, upset that, he was fighting Aldo for the title. He was a co-main event, and then now he's knocked down to the prelims and fighting Poirier. So I hope he doesn't overlook him. But a little bit of me thinks that he is, and I had Grispi first round submission, but at the weigh-in just didn't look motivated. Due to that, I think he's gonna be in trouble in the first round. I think Poirier does catch him, because Grispi doesn't have the greatest stand-up. Neither does Poirier, to be honest. But I think Poirier does probably have the striking advantage in this fight. I think he'll hurt Grispi in the first round, but I think Grispi, in the break time from the second round, I think he gets back into it and he finishes Poirier probably early to mid second round. So I'm going to go Grispi, second round, submission over Dustin Poirier. Next one, Marcus Davis versus Jeremy Stephens. This one, I was really worried about Davis making the weight. I know, went from 170 to 155. But, man, he looked like shredded, and he looked good. He didn't look too drained. Yeah, his face was really, indented. You see his cheekbones and everything like that, but he was upbeat. He looked motivated. He looked ready for this fight. Jeremy Stephens, on the other hand, looked like he was bored, man. He looked he looked good. He didn't, look drained at all, but he just didn't look like he was motivated for this fight. And I hope he doesn't take Marcus Davis lightly. I think a lot of people are. They think Marcus Davis is done. He very well could be, but I don't think he is. I think he's going to come back in this fight. I think he does have power in those hands of his. He had it at 170, and I think he has it here at 155. I don't think any of his power got taken away from the weight cut. Stephens definitely has power in his hands. He has knockout power. Wow. The knockout of Dos Anjos was just amazing. But I think Stephens, I think he's gonna get in trouble. Late second round, and then here comes the third round. I think Davis pulls off, a TKO. So I'm gonna go with Davis, third round submission over, third round TKO over Jeremy Stephens. But yeah, I like Davis in this fight. He's not too bad off the ground. He's good at stand up. I just think the weight cut was my big issue, and he looked pretty good. So I'm going with Davis. On to the main card. First fight, Brandon Vera versus Thiago Silva. At the weigh-in, both looked calm. Vera looked very serious. He looked ready to go. Like, he was not joking around. He was taking this fight very seriously. And I think he should. This could be it for him if he loses. A lot of people don't like this fight. I don't know why. Yeah, they're coming off of losses. Why is it on the main card? Blah, blah, blah. They're exciting fighters. I think Vera is. I think Silva is too. Vera, he's a very dangerous striker. And he has underrated ground game. I think he's very good off his back. Thiago Silva, man, he has power. You can't doubt the power that this guy has. Is he the most technical striker in the world? No, he's not. Does he have the greatest defense? No, but he does have power, and he can knock out fighters. They are coming off losses. Vera's coming off 2 losses. First one by Couture, and then, John Jones, but he wasn't doing too bad against John Jones until he got taken down, and then got blasted with that elbow that cracked his eye. I think his eye socket or something got broken in his eye. Like I said, we're coming off a bad performance against, Rashad Evans. He made a lot of mistakes in that fight, and if he makes those mistakes in this fight, I think he loses this fight too, and I think he does. I see Vera using leg kicks early. He has great leg kicks. And I think he mixes. I think he takes Silva down too, just like Rashad did. I think he mixes his leg kicks, his striking with his takedowns. I just think he controls Silva out through this whole fight. I see if Silva tries, I really doubt Silva will try a takedown, but I think Vera will sprawl. I think he'll just everything. I just see Vera controlling Thiago Silva, and I see Vera winning a unanimous decision. So there you go. Next one, Clay Guida taking on Takanori Gomi. This was a tough fight to call in my eyes because one, Gomi, he's a dangerous striker, and Guida got, he didn't get knocked out by Ken Flo, but he got dropped by, Kenny Florian, and Gomi hits a lot harder than Kenny Florian. So, but Clay Guida, man, he's non-stop, man. He is a Tasmanian devil. He could very much just, control Gomi, take down Gomi, just wear him out. Gomi doesn't have the greatest cardio in the world. He doesn't. I'm gonna stick with my prediction that I had before the weigh-in. I'm gonna go with Guida here by unanimous decision. But Gomi could very well knock out Clay Guida. And I'm still, man, I don't know. I'm scared about picking Guida here. I'm a big fan of Clay Guida. He's a very exciting fighter, but sometimes his defense and his stand-up just isn't too good. And but then, man, Gomi's cardio. The thing that's worrying me is Clay Guida. He has a great chin, but he got dropped by Kenny Florian, and Gomi hits a lot harder. So, but then on the other hand, Gomi. I'm gonna stick with Guida. Guida unanimous decision. I think he takes down Gomi. He wears him out. The first second might be a little close, but I think the third will be just a lopsided round for Guida. So I'm gonna go with Guida's non-stop cardio, pushing the pace, wear down Gomi. So Clay Guida unanimous decision over Takanori Gomi. Next fight, Nate Diaz versus Dung Kim. I think Kim's just better. I think he's the bigger fighter, obviously. I think he'll control Diaz. I think he'll take Diaz down. He'll beat him up on the ground. I think the pitter-patter punches that Nate Diaz and his brother Nick Diaz do won't have no effect on Dung Kim. I think Kim will just control the feet on the stand-up. He'll control on the ground. And he'll win in decision. So I'm going to go with Dung Kim, unanimous decision over Nate Diaz. I think it's just a bad matchup for Nate, to be honest. So, let's see. Kim, unanimous decision over Nate Diaz. On to the co-main event of the evening. A lot of people co-main event special. I don't know. Just the fight before the main event. Chris Leben taking on Brian Stann. A lot of people don't like Stann in this fight. But this is stand-up war written all over it. But I will not be shocked if Stann does take down Leben. Even though, in the whole pre-fight thing, he's saying that, he likes to knock out. But I think Stann, he hits hard. He fought at 205, and he had power then. He definitely has power at 185. And Chris Leben has, a good chin, but he's been dropped. And, and if he gets dropped and he starts throwing punches on the ground, Stann, and the referee thinks you're not defending yourself, the fight's over. And guess what? That's what I think is going to happen. Leben, he has, he has good enough style. He has a good enough cardio for his style, but I think Stann drops him in the second round, and then he just starts throwing bound punches, and the referee stops it. There it is. He's good at stand-up, but he does get dropped. So I'm gonna go with Brian Stann, second round TKO over Chris Leben. On to the main event. I have like a minute and a half, so I'm going to rush through this. Frankie Edgar taking on Maynard. To be honest, this fight was announced. I wasn't too excited, but you know what? I've grown on this fight. Maynard, he looks motivated. He's well-deserving of this title shot. Very well-deserving. I've been warming up to this fight. I think Frankie has improved since his last fight. I just don't think, he's improved enough. So I think Maynard's going to take him down once again. I think he's going to mix up his striking with his takedowns. Edgar is the better striker, obviously, the more technical striker, but, Maynard's the more powerful striker and the more powerful takedown, more powerful wrestler. I had Maynard by unanimous decision. I'm going to stick with it. I think, Maynard just takes down Frankie Edgar. He hurts him on the feet, and hopefully Frankie Edgar moves down to 145, and maybe we'll see a Jose Aldo Frankie Edgar fight. But there you go. There's my predictions. I want to talk a little bit more about the main event, but I ran out of time. So there you go. There's my UFC 125 predictions. I'm out of here. See you later. Adios.